Okay, gonna go film my first vlog now, bye. Hi, I'm a professor, and if you're watching this, maybe you are too. Or maybe you're trying to become one. Or maybe you're just curious about why a professor would even try to make a vlog. Or maybe you've just accidentally stumbled into that weird part of YouTube again. You know what I'm talking about. Whatever your story may be, dear viewer, know this. I think you have great taste in videos and a great taste in video creator. Welcome to the first ever episode of my vlog. Got my coffee. Now, on this, my first ever vlog episode, I want to talk a little bit about what it's like to be a professor. A brand spanking new professor. Now, I haven't always been a professor, but I've had many a friend of me tell me that my voice is so monotone that I may as well have always been a professor. Really? I only started this gig a few months ago, and let me tell you, it's not easy. So, I've been asking a lot of people for advice. Like, a lot of people. You know, people who have just started being a professor, just like me, all the way up to people who have been thriving in this profession for decades in their ivory thrones. And these guys, they gave me a lot of advice. Like, a lot of advice. One thing you'll learn about professors, if you're not one, we love giving advice. And just for you, dear viewer, just for you, I'm gonna share the 5 most useful tips I've received on how to profess real good in a short video series that I'm using to kick off this channel. Let's get it. But first, a disclaimer. This video is primarily meant as advice for tenure-track assistant professors in R1 universities. Now, I'm not going to get into the details of what that means today, but you probably know if you do or do not fit into that category, if you are or are not aiming to be in that category. For everyone else, this advice may apply. I just don't know. Okay, so tip number 1 for new faculty. Expect to be overwhelmed and be ready to adapt. In the words of Illidan Stormrage,
you are not prepared.
So, in graduate school, you spend a lot of time just honing your ability to do research, right? Just gradually grinding away your research axe against that publication grindstone for years on end. 5 years, 6 years, 10 years, 15 years, 25 years. I don't know how long you spent in graduate school, but if you're anything like me, you spent way too long. And that's great, because research is like 100% of your job as a professor, right? Unfortunately, the other 100% of your job is teaching, service to your university, service to your field, advising graduate students, managing graduate students, marketing yourself, marketing your work, and, of course, managing relatively large amounts of money with only a modicum of oversight. Like, a lot of money. Well, maybe not a lot of money, but certainly a lot more money than I've ever seen before in my life. You know, just to name a few things you have to do outside of just research. The thing that many people don't realize is that professors wear a lot of hats. People outside of academia typically think that professors are sort of just like high school teachers, but for college. Early graduate students often think that professors are some sort of like research superstars who spend all of their time just sort of expanding the frontier of human knowledge and sometimes teach just for the heck of it. And, you know, whatever you think of those two stereotypes, there's some truth to both of them, right? Because the truth is, this isn't just one job, this is a half a dozen jobs rolled into one. And the truth of the matter is that graduate school just does not prepare you for this job, right? Nothing does. Graduate school is not professing 101, it just teaches you how to do good research, and if you're lucky, how not to suck at teaching, and if you're really lucky, that funding is a thing that eventually you might need to care about. But you're never really in charge of doing anything but doing good research. I heard being a new professor is sort of like running a startup that will never be profitable. And you spend all of your time recruiting and managing new talent, except your graduate students, your new talent, will eventually leave you and are in fact training to leave you right as soon as they hit their peak productivity. So that sucks. Basically, there's nothing quite like this job. So there's nothing that prepares you or teaches you to do this job well. It's your first 2 years on the job that will teach you how to be a good professor. So in those first 2 years, expect to be overwhelmed because there's just so much to learn and to do, and it's really easy to be drowning in all of those new skills that you need to develop, right? Just know that you're not alone. I certainly have experienced all of these things and don't expect it to stop anytime soon. But probably most importantly, embrace the opportunity hidden in all of that turmoil. This is, in my honest opinion, one of the best jobs in the world, right? You don't have to answer to anybody but yourself, not even a shareholders or a bottom line or anything. Your job is literally to indulge deeply into your own intellectual curiosity and just go, conceptually, where literally nobody has ever gone before. What is more fun than that? The price of that amazing freedom? Some structures that are put in place to insulate you from the bullshit of the external world to the greatest extent possible while you continue to do what you love. Alright, so that wasn't really advice. Kind of maybe a pep talk, but not really quite that either. Really, there isn't much advice to give here. The most consistent message I received from everybody who I asked for advice on how to be a good professor about was simply that one message, right? Expect to be overwhelmed your first 2 years on the job because it's nothing you've actually been training for. Your first few years on the job are going to be pretty overwhelming, but you're not alone in that. I'm super anxious about whether or not I can do this well, and I hope that I can, and I'm thankful for having colleagues who have supported me every step of the way. And just because it seems like there's not quite enough for me to do on this job already, I've decided to start this vlog, because I've noticed that there really aren't too many vlogs about scientists or professors doing their sort of day-to-day jobs. So, stay tuned. Check this out. It's about to storm. But I'm going to finish filming before I go back home. It just started raining, so I had to put my nice camera away. And now I'm trying to run back home so that my camera doesn't get ruined and take all the footage with it. Always an adventure.